today we're going to look at simultaneous equations with quadratics. In order to be successful at solving simultaneous equations with quadratics, you need to be able to do the following. So you need to be able to factorize quadratic expressions. You need to be able to solve quadratic equations by either factorizing or by using the quadratic formula. You also need to be able to rearrange equations and be able to substitute into formulae. Now, just in case you've forgotten the quadratic formula, I'm just going to write it down here. So it's minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so I'm going to go through some examples on solving simultaneous equations with quadratics. If you struggle with any of these, once I've done the videos for these, I'll put the link below. So number one, solve the simultaneous equations y equals x squared minus 2x plus 2 and y equals 2x minus 1. If this appears on a non-calculator paper, chances are you should be able to solve this using factorization. So let's have a go at this question. So it tells you that y is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 2. But it also tells you that y equals to 2x minus 1. Therefore, what we're going to do is replace this y and substitute it by 2x minus 1 because we're told that's what y is. So I'm now going to rewrite this first equation, and it's going to become x squared minus 2x plus 2 is equal to 2x minus 1. So that's your first step. And then what you want to do is you want an equation where everything is equal to 0. Therefore, everything from your right hand side, you want to bring it to your left hand side. So we're going to get rid of the 2x. So I'm going to do minus 2x. And what you do to one side, you do it to the other side. So that's going to be minus 2x. You've got minus 1 here, so you're going to add 1. Therefore, you're going to add 1 here as well. And you simplify. So you've got x squared minus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. Right, what's your next step? You need to factorize. So once you're here, you factorize. Okay, so 2 brackets. It's obviously going to be x and x. Now, factors of 3, it's easy. It's just 3 and 1. But be mindful that the middle term is negative 4. So the only way that's going to be positive and your middle term is going to be negative is if both your brackets are negative. Because a negative times a negative will give you a positive. And if you add 2 negatives, it's still going to be negative. So that's going to be 3 and 1 or 1 and 3. It's entirely up to you. Now, to solve these, remember either this bracket is equal to 0 or the second bracket is equal to 0. So if x minus 3 is equal to 0, then x is 3. That's your first solution. Or if x minus 1 is equal to 0, then x is equal to 1. That's your second solution. Okay? Once you've got the values of x, obviously you don't end the question there. You've also got to work out what the value of y is. So I'm going to just rewrite my values of x at the top here. So x equals to 3 or x is equal to 1. So when x is equal to 3, what is the value of y? And I'm going to put that into this equation. Because y is already the subject. So y is equal to 2x. And 2x means 2 times x. But what is x? X is 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. Take away 1 is 5. So that's your first set of solutions. And for the second one, when y is 1, when x is 1, I'm going to do the exact same thing and I'm going to substitute it into this equation. This time I'm going to do 2 times 1 because x is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Take away 1 is 1. So these are your solutions. Okay, Sometimes you might have the answer box might be, two dotted lines where you put your x's and underneath you write your y's. So x1, y1, x2 and y2, or they may want you to write these as coordinates. So it would be like this and like that. Okay, so these are your answers for this question. Question number 2. This time we've got to solve x squared plus y squared is equal to 17 and y is equal to x minus 3. So I'm going to work with the first equation where it says x squared, we don't know anything about the x, plus y squared. However, what do we know about y? Well, y is the same as x minus 3. So I'm going to substitute x minus 3 instead of the y. So I'm going to rewrite this, and it's going to be x squared plus x minus 3, don't forget the squared, equals to 17. What does squaring mean? It means multiplying that number by itself. So in this case, you're going to multiply this term by itself, or this expression by itself. So it's going to be x squared plus x minus 3 times x minus 3, and that is equal to 17. So then obviously you need to expand and simplify these two brackets. So let me rewrite the x squared, and that's going to give you x squared minus 3x plus 9, and that's equal to 17. What do you think our next step is? Simplify. So x squared plus x squared is 2x squared. Minus 3x is minus 6x. And then I'm going to take away the 17 to make it equal to 0. And that's going to be minus 8 equals to 0. So there we've got a quadratic equation. Now at this stage what I would do is look at every single term. They're all multiples of 2. Therefore I would divide everything by 2. So that we make our life easier. So that's going to be x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals to 0. So I'm going to rewrite this at the top, and we need to be able to solve it. Again, it doesn't say anything about leaving your answer to a certain DP, significant figure, or in third form, which means we should be able to factorize it. Factors of 4, that will give you 3, will be 4 and 1. We just need to figure out which one's going to be minus and which one's going to be positive. So the bigger number will be the negative, because that's negative 3 plus 1. Now 1 times negative 4 is negative 4, and positive 1 minus 4 is minus 3. So again, we're going to solve it. So either the first bracket is equal to 0, in which case x is equal to minus 1, or x minus 4 is equal to 0, therefore x is equal to 4, and that's your second solution. And what's our last step? So normally in an exam, by this stage you get sort of 4 out of 5 marks, and then your last mark is to work out the y values. So the value of y and the value of y. And I'm going to substitute my values of x into this equation here, because it tells me what, into this formula, because we already know what y is. Y is x minus 3. X is minus 1, so minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4. And when x is 4, 4 take away 3 is 1, so y is 1. That's one set of solutions, and that's another set of solutions. And these are my answers. Okay, now let's go over to the next. Okay, example 3, we're going to solve the simultaneous equations where x squared plus y squared is equal to 20 and 3x is equal to 2 minus y. I'm not going to do anything about x squared plus y squared equals to 20. I'm going to work with the second equation first, where it says 3x is equal to 2 minus y. In this case, x has a coefficient, but y doesn't. Therefore, I'm going to make y the subject. Purely because if I wanted to make x the subject, I would have to end up dividing all of this by 3, and we would have a fraction, and it just becomes more complex. So to make y the subject, y will be 2 minus 3x. Okay, so that's y. And then I'm now going to use this to replace the y by 2 minus 3x. So I'm now going to have x squared plus y squared, but what is y? Y is 2 minus 3x squared equals to 20. Again, same thing. I'm going to write 2 minus 3x and 2 minus 3x, and that's equal to 20. I'm going to expand and simplify, so that's going to give me x squared plus 4 minus 6x minus 6x plus 9x squared is equal to 20. I'm going to simplify over here. So x squared plus 9 squared will be 10x squared. Minus 6x will be minus 12x. I'm going to subtract the 20 to get rid of it from the right hand side. So 4 take away 20 is minus 16, and that's equal to 0. Now again, if you look at all the terms, they're multiples of 2. Therefore, we're going to divide everything by 2. And that's going to give me 5x squared minus 6x minus 8 equals to 0. And then I'm going to factorize. It's going to be 5x and x. It's going to be 2 and 4. Now, factors of 8, you've either got 1 and 8 or 2 and 4. Now, in my head, I was thinking about it. If I put the 2 there, that's going to give me 10x. That's going to give me 4x, which does have a difference to give me 6. Now, I just need to think about which one's going to be plus and minus. Now, this has to be the minus, because then it gives me minus 10x, and minus 10x plus 4x will give me the minus 6x. Okay, so then either 5x plus 4 is equal to 0, in which case 5x is equal to minus 4, and x is minus 4 over 5, or x minus 2 is equal to 0, therefore x is 2. Okay, and this is where it becomes more difficult. I mean, not that difficult, but a little extra, because you're working with fractions. So I would say, yes, one of the other things you probably need to be comfortable with is also fractions. Okay, adding fractions, subtracting with fractions, and multiplying with fractions. So I'm going to start with this one first, and I'm going to use this formula where it says what y is. Y is 2 minus 3x. So let's start with the integer. So y equals 2 minus 3 times 2. So y equals 2 minus 6. Y is minus 4. So that's your solution. Or y is 2 minus 3 times negative 4 fifths. So y is 2 plus 12 fifths. So when you multiply fractions, you multiply numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. When you add fractions, you need to make sure that you have a common denominator. So in this case, it's going to be 5. So 5 times 2 is 10, plus 12 is 22 over 5. Okay, so these are your solutions where x is 2 or x is minus 4 fifths, y is minus 4, and y is 22 over 5. I hope that makes sense. And the final example, we're going to solve the simultaneous equations, and this time you need to give your answer to 3 significant figures. So if you've ever got a question where it says give your answer to a certain significant figure or DP, it means at some point you're going to have to use the formula. Let's make a start. So we've got x squared plus y squared is equal to 27, and 2x minus y is equal to 3. Again, I'm going to use the linear equation, and I'm going to make y the subject, and y is going to be 2x minus 3. And I'm going to substitute that into my x squared plus y squared equals to 27. So x squared plus y squared is equal to 27, but I know what y is 2x minus 3. So I'm going to have x squared plus 2x minus 3 squared equals 27. That's the same as x squared plus 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3, and that's equal to 27. What do you think our next step is? Yep, expand and simplify. So that's going to give me 4x squared minus 6x minus 6x plus 9. And that's 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. And then don't forget to bring down the x squared. And that's equals to 27. So I'm going to simplify that on the right hand side. That's going to give me 5x squared minus 12x. And that's going to be minus 27 and minus 27. And that's minus 18. That's equal to 0. So I'm now going to use the formula to find the value of x. I'm just going to rewrite the formula here. X is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that's my a, that's my b, that's my c. Just to write it down, a is 5, b is negative 12, and c is negative 18. So x is minus 12 plus or minus 12 squared minus 4 times 5 times negative 18 all over 2a. So I'm just going to simplify this a bit. That's going to be positive 12. That's going to give you 144 plus 4 times 5 times 18, 360 all over 10. Put all of that into your calculator. So this time I'm going to do 12 plus the square root of 144 plus 360. And I'm going to divide that by 10. So my answer is to 3 significant figures, so 3.44. Or this time I'm going to do 12 minus the square root of 144 plus 360 and divide that by 10. So my answer is going to be minus 1.04. And once I've got the values of x, I'm going to sub them back into here where we know what y is. Okay, so y is equal to 2 times 3.44, take away 3. So 3.44 times 2 minus 3, y is equal to 3.88, or y equals 2 times minus 1.04 minus 3. So y equals 2 times negative 1.04, take away 3, and that's going to give me minus 5.08. And these are my solutions. Okay.